Hey, you guys. So, it is me. I'm here live for the Beaver full moon in Gemini. Wow. It's been a day. It's been a day. I'm exhausted. But I wanted to get on here and talk to you guys. I was gonna do kind of separate like each sign readings, but I'm tired, so I'm going to just do readings for the I'm just going to do readings for the elements, the elements here. So what's going on? I'm not an astrologer. I've said this in my other video. I'm not an astrologer, but I can do math and put things together. So we're going to do it my way. So this particular full moon is called the Beaver moon. Full Beaver moon is what I called it, for a pun's sake. And if I'm looking, because I'm looking at my notes, by the way. If I'm looking away, it's because I'm looking at my notes. And a lot of this is going to be, hold on, give me a second. Let me put on let me change the lighting a little bit. Oh, it changed by itself. I'm going to change the lighting a little bit because I think it's a little harsh. Oh, that's just doesn't exist anymore. Hi, Alexa. Okay, we're going to, I don't know why I keep doing this. I'm like, see, this is how exhausted I am because I keep messing with the lighting here. Okay, so the moon in Gemini manifests itself as a need for change and spontaneity. Safety lies in thinking about your feelings and sharing them with others. Because this is a full moon, this is going to exacerbate certain elements. What elements, you ask? Gemini is an air sign. And so if there is something in regards to safety, in regards to structure, especially with this being the Beaver full moon, and beavers are really much about kind of structure and creating structures and also creating ways of which they can create certain doors and opportunities for themselves. And so anyway, we're going to get to that. But if you have been sort of feeling a little extra, feeling a little blindsided, feeling like on some level you have been solid in a certain thing, and then now you're kind of questioning some of the decisions that you've made, I wouldn't pay too much attention to it right now because of the fact that we're in the full moon energy and everything's going to be exacerbated. And, Gemini deals in duality, And so if you have had, for example, if you're really certain about a certain path that you've taken up until now, Gemini might come in with the twin and kind of push into your subconscious all of these kind of past traumas and past fears and things that you haven't quite yet dealt with that need to be dealt with until before you can reach the next level. If we're talking about houses or structures, for example, it might be one of those things where you pick the plot of land, you know where you're going to build, you might even have the plans for where you're going to build, but you need the permits. It's that level of sort of like, it's not a reevaluation as much as it is just making sure that you have the fine-tuning details. I was actually mentioning to someone the other day about the idea of being a finely tuned instrument, and being a finely tuned instrument is making sure that you're playing exactly the right notes. How would you do that? Through the processes that you've been in, through the sort of the shaving down of the certain rougher parts of your, of your personality, of your life, things like that. And so this is going to have a lot to do with also kind of thinking on the fly. If you had a lot of problems with your head, and what I mean by your head, it's been 2020. If you're dealing with anxiety, depression, if you're dealing with like I said, uncertainty and things like that, you're going to want to deal a lot with protecting your head. You're going to want to protect your head because it is air. And air is about, thoughts and inspiration and stuff like that, but again, when you're talking about we're in a full moon type of energy, it's going to be a little, it's going to be like a little crazy. It's going to be a little, it's so funny if you think about the idea of the full moon and you think about the kind of tropes, if you will, um, that we talk about when it comes to the full moon. We talk about the full moon brings out the werewolf. What is the werewolf symbolically? The werewolf symbolically is going to be the kind of wild, unconscious nature. The reason why people are, they're crazy, during the full moon. Lunacy. They're lunatics, It's about those sort of subconscious mental elements. A lot of times subconscious mental elements sort of coming to the forefront. Going back to my notes. Okay, so I talked about the beaver a little bit, this being the beaver full moon. So in Native American medicine, beaver is the spirit animal. It's connected to trusting your creativity. Beaver is a totem animal that belongs to those who know accomplishment comes through cooperation. So this is also going to be dealing with community and how you function within community. Not only what your role is, but how you're contributing negatively or positively to your communal space. This is about structure. This is about home, a lot of it. It's not going to be as much about, the things that make you feel stable. I think I always think of I sent somebody actually the other day The Wiz. I love The Wiz, and there's that song, when I think of home I think of a place where there's love overflowing. Your ideas, again, we're talking about the mental, your ideas when it comes to home, your ideas when it comes to structure. And a lot of us has done a lot of work leading up until up into the full moon. We've done a lot of work leading up until now. And so again, a lot of us might just have to sort of fine tune these ideas, fine tune these ideologies when it comes to these things. So I'm going to go ahead and pull some cards just for the elements. So as we are now currently in the Gemini full moon, I'm going to pull just kind of general air element, couple cards for y'all. Let's see. So we are pulling cards. Okay, so what do we got for air signs? Okay, so for air signs, we have the Six of Cups. We have the Page of Rods, and we have the Hermit card here. Okay, so this is speaking to me about how perhaps you have, as an air sign, used people as leverage to certain paths of which instead of actually going down the path on your own, it's almost like being in an initiatory process and you're told you have to do it alone, but it's like I'm in a dark forest. I don't want to go in the dark forest alone, so you bring your buddy, but your buddy can't really help you so much through the initiation process. You yourself have to go down that sort of yellow. I don't know why I'm doing these, like, I think my friend was also talking about the Wizard of Oz, so I think all about the Wizard of Oz right now. We're going down the yellow brick road, and it's like you actually have to, whereas Dorothy had friends, your initiatory process includes you sort of going down the path alone. And so I think that this full moon is going to illuminate for air signs this sort of sense of how perhaps you have used people or situations or even family members as sort of crutches in not having to fully experience either situations or opportunities or or things that sort of would bring you from the initiation of being where you are to where you need to go. So that's what I'm seeing with air signs and what's going to be illuminated during the full moon for you. So let's move on to earth signs. So earth signs, what do you have going on for the Beaver full moon? Earth signs. Earth the signs. Okay, we're going to pull 3 cards for earth signs. Okay, so earth signs. We have the 8 of rods. We have the 4 of rods in reverse. And we have the 9 of cups in reverse. For earth signs, I would say, especially during this full moon, what it might bring up for you is the fact that sometimes you think just because you have dotted all your I's and crossed all your T's, and because you've done things exactly as you were told to do them, you've followed all the rules, that things should actually come quicker to you, or they should come before everybody else who hasn't put in all the work, and that's just not really how it goes a lot of times. And so this is going to be about you still being able to hang on to, again, maybe it's an idea, maybe it's maybe it's an opportunity, maybe it is a person, place, or thing. But it's about you being able to hold on to these things, also knowing that it's going to come in the timing it's going to come, and not just because you want it to come faster. It's not even just about patience. It's about sort of the lesson in not having so much control over everything, because you can't ultimately have as much control as you'd like. So that's what I'd have for earth signs. Let's see, water. Let's go on to water. So water signs. What's going on with the water signs? Okay. So water signs, we have we have the 7 of Pentacles. We have the move this real quick. We have the Magician in reverse. And we have the Hangman in reverse here too. Manifestation is a funny thing, because it goes sometimes it goes in ways of which we don't want it, and we have to be very careful about what we're manifesting, especially when it comes to our emotions. Okay. I don't know if I told this story, but I sometimes I watch stuff on like YouTube, or I watch stuff, just kind of randomly. And by the way, I'm in my robe right now because it's like late for me. I'm in France, so it's really late. But well, it's like almost 10 o'clock. It's not that late. Anyway, so I was watching this documentary on this woman named Ruth Ellis. She's like the last woman who was hung in Britain. And it's actually a crazy story. But if you want to know more about it, you can look it up. But long story short, what I noticed was she killed somebody. She wanted to be... So basically she killed somebody. And then she knew that by killing them, that she would be hung. And so she kept telling everyone, she's like, well, an eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. And I watched her, because it's a documentary, I watched her really... I watched her actually manifest her own punishment on a level. And what I mean by that is it was her will to be hung, because she thought that by being hung and dying, she would actually be able to be with her lover. But I watched her sort of manifest things around what she wanted. She was also very tired of all the abuse she'd kind of suffered in this world, and really wanted to just die. And I watched, it was literally like her defense team just like totally screwed up, but had all the, if things would have gone a different way, she would have been able to actually like get her life saved and stuff like that. But it was just like, it was like everything around her conformed to this ideal that she had actually set in motion, which was, I am going to be hung for this. I want to be hung for this. She didn't want to be saved. And my point is that manifestation works several different ways, and just be very careful about what your emotions may be manifesting. And just remember another thing that I was told during something that I was watching, which was, hi Veronica, just waved to you. Oh, wait. Okay, I just waved to you. Okay. So another thing that I was told while I was watching some, I watch motivational stuff, which was a body without a head has no governance. And I know a lot of times, being as a water sign, there's a lot of water going on, especially during the, as stuff, especially during the full moon, just even chemically, there's a lot of water stuff going on. And just remember your head. Remember your head. Remember to use your head, and be careful with what you're manifesting with with intense emotion. So, fire signs. Last sign. Fire signs. What's going on with the fire? The fuego. What's going on with the fire signs? I'm a fire sign myself, so I kind of saved myself for last. I'm a Leo, so, best for last. Okay, so... Okay, so fire signs. We have the Page of Cups here. We have the Lover's card. And we have the Ten of Swords. Fire signs, we got to be careful. We have to be careful with how we are communicating with others. We have to be careful. Again, we're talking about community when it comes to the Beaver moon. So we have to be careful as to how these calls. We have to be careful as to how we are interacting with others, and how we're sort of allowing relationships to sort of falter, or being so far in our ego that we're not willing to do the work necessary in order to sort of pacify situations. Because a lot of times fire signs just like going for it, and just being very careful and understanding that, it does take a community, although you may feel like, I don't need them. You can't build everything by yourself. You do need them. Because if you don't watch your fire during this full moon energy, you're going to end up in this situation, which is the Ten of Swords, situation. And that's not the goal here, right? It's not the goal. You're going to be kind of end up out there on your own, building things by yourself, trying to figure out, well, I don't even know how to use this hammer, being exhausted. So just remember, it does take a community. So anyway, that's what I have to say. I hope that was helpful. Thanks for watching this video. And I do have a new special. So if you want a personal reading, from now until Wednesday, I have a special, which is $35. It's usually $75, but it's $35 for a full reading. It'll be via email, but it will be an emailed reading for you. So anyway, bye-bye.